Hello, this is Dylan. Today I wanted to answer some of my most frequently commented questions. Of course, we've got Elwin is here with us today, and my wife is just off camera to ask me the questions that we have written out. You can't see her, but she's going to say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so should I address why I'm in the park?
Yeah.
Also, you may be wondering why we are at the park. Elwin is going to go play after this, but I thought we would answer the questions while we're here. Hopefully it stops raining in the meantime, but we're going to get started with the questions. Also, if I don't answer your question, then feel free to leave a comment down below and I will make another one of these in the future.
Okay, by far your top most asked question is, are you blind or are you just training him?
So I'm legally blind. I am not a professional guide dog trainer, although I do maintain Elwin's training. My visual acuity is 2200. So if you think about the eye chart, the top of the eye chart is 2200. It's usually one letter, usually represented by the letter E. And that's the best that I can see with the best possible corrected vision. So the best pair of glasses, best pair of contacts that I could get, that is the best that I can see. So I am blind. I'm not a trainer, to answer the question. And if you're really curious about how I see, I have made a video called How I See. Check it out.
Okay, your next question is, how do you upload and post videos on YouTube?
So I use a lot of assistive technology. There's a lot of programs already built into my computer, a screen magnifier, screen readers, different display settings to make things easier to see. And that's usually all I need to make the videos or to do anything on the computer, really. Just the screen magnifier and speech selection, which will read whatever I highlight. It makes things a lot easier. So I upload it just like anybody else would. And I edit the videos just like anybody else would. So if you're curious about how that would look, I could make a video about how I use my computer or maybe how I edit my videos.
How do you use a camera?
I turn the camera on and I press record. That's it. I turn the camera on and then I press record. Cameras are very tactile and I just buy cameras that either speak out loud to me just so I can make sure that it's recording. And I mean, if I hold it close enough, I can see it. So if I hold things, I'm very nearsighted too. So if I hold things close enough, I will usually be able to see it unless it's just really small, but it has to be like 3 inches away from my face. So I usually buy a camera that will at least tell me that it's recording. My camera usually says start recording or stop recording, and that's helpful. But yeah, you just need to like learn where the buttons are. And then like you're good to go. There's not really much that goes into it.
How do you edit your videos?
Using the same accessibility features that I was talking about earlier, screen magnifier, screen reader. I use Adobe Premiere Pro editing software, and you can really customize where things go and how big the windows are. That helps. I use a big monitor. That's really about it.
So a lot of people comment this question. How can you describe what's going on in your videos if you're blind?
That is a really interesting and valid question. When I record something, I can put it on my computer, and then unlike in real life, I can zoom in on what's going on. I use a 360 camera, so there's a little bit of built-in zoom there when I'm recording. And I can use the screen magnifier on my computer, and I can see a lot more than if I had just been looking around in real life. And I can also just like ask my wife to look at it and see if I've missed anything in particular. There's a couple of shorts that I wouldn't have even used the footage if she hadn't pointed out what was going on in them. Like, I think there's one where a jogger passes me. I didn't even notice it. That one was all her picking that out. Yeah, I mean, I just ask people to look at the footage and I look at it myself with all of my wonderful assistive technology. And that's usually how I edit things and pick out the footage that I'm going to use.
How do you read comments?
I mentioned earlier, there's a feature called speech selection where I highlight things and it reads them to me. I just do that. I mean, if it's on my phone and I hold it close enough, I can just read the comments. Also on my phone is VoiceOver. I have an eye condition called nystagmus where my eyes shake all the time. If I read things for a while, they usually start to hurt, which if I read things for too long can lead to a migraine. So sometimes I'll turn on VoiceOver and have VoiceOver read things to me.
Elwin is readjusting.
Oh, Elwin's readjusting. There we go. Go quickly.
How does Elwin know where to go?
Great question. Elwin has no idea where to go. I mean, sometimes he does. There is a part of his training called patterning where I teach him routes through just repetition. And so I can teach him, he knows a command also called find the. So if I need to find a chair in a waiting room I've never been to before, he can just find the nearest chair. But he can also do things that are more complex, like find the house or find home if we're near enough to where we live. he can do that. Or if I work in a particular building that I go to very often, I can say find the bathroom or find the office, and he can just, through repetition, he knows where those things are, so he can find those and take me to those. But I really need to know where we're going. There's a field called orientation and mobility, which is literally just teaching people who are blind or visually impaired how to navigate in their community or anywhere independently or as independently as possible. Guide dogs, white canes, these are all things that just help with navigating independently. And so Elwin can navigate around things, identify obstacles. He can do a lot of that work that frees me up to keep a mental map in my head of where I am and where I'm going. Even if I have to figure all that stuff out by myself, like if I was using a cane or I wasn't using anything at all, I could, instead of worrying about where all of the obstacles are and how to get around them and what's going on, Elwin just takes a lot of that off the table so I can worry about getting to my destination. I memorize where things are. I use Google Street View all the time before I go to a new place to look and see what it looks like. Can zoom in on there as well. Yeah, it's up to me to know the route, and it's up to Elwin to get us there safely.
The next 3 questions are all about Elwin. So I'll ask the first one. Does Elwin ever get to play?
Yes, Elwin gets to play. Nobody worry. Elwin plays all the time. If his harness is off, he is just a regular dog. Like, his harness is on. He is being a very good boy. He knows he's working. I mean, even just sitting here is working. He's got a lot, like 80% of his job is just sitting around waiting for me to need to go somewhere. When I go to work, he just sits in the office all day. Sometimes I take his harness off. We play a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I take him to play all the time, and we play at home. He has lots of toys that we can throw, or he can chew, or we play hide and seek. That's a really fun game that he likes to play. Yeah, I mean, after we answer these questions, hopefully it stops raining, we're going to go to the dog park and play. Like, he gets to play all the time. It's just that when his harness is on, it's his uniform. He's at work. He's working. So Elwin does spend a pretty good portion of the day working, but he also spends a pretty good portion of the day getting to play or rest. He likes to sit in sunbeams on our porch and just relax. Yeah, I'd say his first favorite thing is probably working. He loves to go new places and be challenged. If he didn't, we would just have to immediately retire him, because you can't really make a dog work. They have to enjoy it, or they're not going to work. So I'd say his first favorite thing is working. His second favorite thing is playing. And his third favorite thing is taking naps in sunbeams, especially. I don't know. What would you say some of Elwin's other favorite things are?
I would agree with that. I think he also enjoys eating.
Yeah.
Breakfast time is his favorite time. Did you train Elwin?
No, Elwin was born at a guide dog school, and when he was 6 weeks old, he was sent to a puppy raiser who does like basic obedience training and socializes them with people and animals and takes them out. A guide dog in training has the same rights as a working guide dog to go wherever a working guide dog is legally allowed to go. So they spend about a year doing that, and then they come back to the guide dog school to receive formal training. I think it's for the school that we went to, it was 4 months, and then they're paired with their humans, and we spend about 3 weeks training together. I'm trained on how to use Elwin and how to maintain his training, and Elwin gets accustomed to just me being his human, his forever human, and then he's sent out into the world. But no, I didn't train him. I do maintain his training, though. We do almost daily obedience training, which is just, like sit, stay, come. Obedience training, that's just games. We play hide and seek, like I mentioned earlier, which is just a lot of call and response. I tell him to stay, I tell him to come, and just an added fun element of him finding me. Yeah, maintaining his training.
And then last question, why did you name him Elwin?
I didn't name him. He came with his name. He was like a year and some change old when they get sent to their puppy raiser. The puppy raiser actually gets to name them at the guide dog school that he came from. There are some guide dog schools where when they're born, they just name them themes and the batches they were born in. So there's like 10 dogs and they all name them. Their names all start with the letter P or something, or they're all named after lead singers of rock bands or physicists or something. And Elwin's school sends them to their puppy raisers, and their puppy raisers get to name them. I don't know why. I've never met Elwin's puppy raiser, but I like the name. I've never heard it before I met Elwin, and everybody loves it. People usually confuse it with other names because it's not a very common name. So they'll confuse it with, they'll think I'm saying Owen or Elvis, or sometimes Elvish. But it almost never does anybody say Elwin on the first try. So I think that's all the questions. Those are definitely the most common questions that I've seen. And if you have a question that I have not answered, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will get around to making another one of these videos once I have a new set of questions to answer. Thanks.